Previously on the Lupe and Royce show.
Jeez, man, you guys gotta help me, man. Please, I'm a family man. I got kids.
Shh. Pen, confession, autograph, help, in that order.
You did the right thing, kid.
Hey, we'll be back. Whatever you do, don't answer the phone.
So, Royce, where'd you get that phone from anyway?
Man, that's my daughter's phone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Beautifully written.
The Lupe and Royce show is a Say What Media production.
That was pretty good.
Bam! What's up, y'all? This is Lupe Fiasco, and I am currently wearing the Lupe and Royce t-shirt. Go get you one.
What's up? This is Royce the 5'9", and not only is my brother wearing a Lupe and Royce t-shirt, but he's writing another script as we speak. Just to give you an idea of the greatness.
Yeah, I might be a little distracted this episode. But anyway.
That's because you won't take my help. I offered it to you.
I also offered him help.
No,
I tried to help this guy write the script, but he won't even let me help him.
Neither one of you help. I got this, man. Let me.
Come on. You do your thing. This is Tom Frank. I'm the regular dude. I'm also wearing a Lupe and Royce shirt. I'm very much like this one. It's very nice. We're out of shirts online. We got to get some more back up there. We've been sold out for a while. That's on me. That's on me.
You the man.
What do you got on your head today? My God versus my enemies. Who's winning?
I think y'all need to ask Jordan Peele about me, bro.
Are you still worrying about? Hold on. First of all, did we get any comments about? I believe it was an amazing performance, especially in lieu of that it was the Oscars. I feel like that we put on such a decent performance that we should at least got some honorable mention or something, like a little nod from the Oscars.
Yeah. I think we did it in enough time. We did it in enough time where it could have been submitted, right?
We got a lot of positive feedback.
Were
I think
any
a lot
of them
of people
from the Oscars?
appreciated the Ring of the Theater.
Did we get feedback from the Oscars?
Not yet. It hasn't come in. It usually takes a few weeks for it to come in the mail.
Anybody
we have
named
a P.O. box.
Anybody named Oscar? Because it might just be an email. Could be an Oscar Rodriguez. Maybe.
I'll look for it.
Okay, we'll take it. I'm just saying.
They
could just mail my trophy to Lupe crib. I'll pick it up one day when we find out where he live at.
If he gets a trophy, he's not picking it up anytime soon.
Lupe live in an underground bunker, bro. It's over. Man, I'm telling you, dog, y'all got to respect my pen in that script room, bro.
Listen, man, if you want to start writing the scripts, then go ahead. I had multiple scripts, but I didn't write them down, so I had to do a concert today. Shout out to East Carolina University for having your boy come perform. So I
East Carolina.
Yeah, East Carolina.
East Carolina.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. The Pirates.
You know of East Carolina?
What do you mean? Do I know of East Carolina? Yes, I know of East Carolina.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm gonna a shout out to one of my colleagues, Ryan Stroll, who I know listens to the show, is a Pirate alum. He will be very excited that you did a virtual concert.
There you go. It was great. It was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was it? You just did this show. Was it live?
Yeah, it was live.
Recorded?
It was live. It was a proper live show.
Proper live show.
Shout out to my DJ 00. Yeah, man. I've been doing virtual concerts kind of here and there sporadically throughout the pandemic, to keep the bills paid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did notice...
job, man, because I still need mine paid. Go ahead, Tom.
Now, I did notice that you announced, and Royce, tell me if you're doing the same, that you're going back out on tour. In November?
Lupe is.
I don't know why Royce does this, man. I don't know why he plays like first that he's not Royce the 5'9". Royce the 5'9" has more Instagram followers than I do. At least half as many, right? Half more than I do. Royce almost has 1 million Instagram followers. I'm barely looking at a 5'45", okay?
I didn't mean it like that. I meant I don't want to go.
Royce. Oh, okay. It's like how you,
Yeah, I don't want to go.
I like how you interrupted my tirade. But go ahead. Now you don't want to go. Huh? Nah, it's fine.
I don't like interrupting your tirade, bro.
It's cool. It's cool. He likes to minimize his impact and celebrity. The Mister just got nominated for a Grammy. Like he likes to do that from time. His friends win Oscars. People that I know because of him winning Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't nobody I know won an Oscar. Was it? Yeah, I don't think I know anybody that won an Oscar. Royce personally knows people.
Well, you know me, and I would have won one if I would have wrote that script. I would have won one. Or if I'd have helped write it.
Maybe we should have a script off.
No, I don't want to make this a competition. I want to. Every time I try to collaborate with this man, he always turns me down and rejects me.
Man, do you see this shirt? What's written on this shirt? Tom, can you read what's on this shirt?
I believe it says the Lupe and Royce Show, featuring.
Yeah, don't say that.
Frank.
You stop with the word stop. Okay.
Is that on the back? Maybe that's on the back.
Don't you add something? What does that say? That says the Lupe and Royce.
And Tom, why are you always so complicit with his facetiousness?
Listen, this script though that I'm writing right now, this right here is
Scripto?
Ooh, it's cakes. This is delicious cakes, hot off the presses.
Is it going to be better than the first week?
Of course it is.
Yeah, the first one was a little rough.
He set the precedence. He set the precedence for the first one.
I actually had a really good one, but it was almost too good for the show. And I was like, well, I can't just waste this on this talent. On us, like we building up to it. This one of those like if we nail this one, right? And I mean we actually clinch it in there, drive this one home, then I think we deserve to have the top notch quality stuff that I've been cooking up. Hit us.
So y'all might.
So we have to prove ourselves.
Yeah, to ourselves
before.
I got to work on stepping y'all performance up this week.
Listen, Royce,
I got to work on it.
Your performance was really good. I ain't gonna front. I listened to it. I listened to the show, and I was like, "Man, Royce!" And shout to Scorpio for putting in those well time. I
ain't been listening to nothing but that since we did it, bro. I just be fast forwarding all my parts.
Scorpio did a very, very good job.
Let me find out that Royce takes the Lupe and Royce show, chops it up, just takes his parts, and then just does the Royce show over at the Joe Budden Network. He drops it at the Joe Budden Network, and it's just him. It's just the Royce show. He cuts me and you completely out. It's just him.
It wouldn't be any fun if it was just a Royce show. I put it on cassette and fast forward. Nah. I was feeling that when we did it though. That was fun. That was fun to do. If we had fun doing it, then I'm pretty sure the people listening enjoyed it.
It was well received. Well received.
Did we get any? Did we have any like comments?
We're gonna get to those comments.
Okay.
But first, we got a guest today.
Oh, okay.
No. But first, we got a very interesting guest today.
I love having guests.
I know you like having guests, and this is one. As people are listening to this on Thursday, because everybody listens to on Thursday, there's a big sporting event coming up. There's the NFL draft. It makes dreams and it kills dreams. And we have Doug Middleton on the show. He's a professional football player, plays for the Jacksonville Jags, plays safety. I know you've bounced around the NFL a little bit, and I want to hear a little bit about that. But even more importantly, Doug started a foundation called Dream the Impossible, which was formed to really fix the lack of awareness surrounding mental health in the African American community. And we're going to get into that because I want to know more. But first, I got to ask you, the burning question is when this comes out. It's going to come out on Thursday, the NFL draft, and you will have a new teammate. Who will it be? Let us in on that.
I mean, to be honest, I think everybody in America knows who it's gonna be. So I think it's a done deal. It sounds like Trevor Lawrence. So excited to call him a teammate. Looks like a great competitor. He's a winner, and that's definitely what we're trying to do, turn this thing around. So,
tell us a little bit about how you got to Jacksonville, because now you were an undrafted free agent, right? You came out of Appalachian State.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Yeah, so I got into the league undrafted, went to a small school, Appalachian State. We won a lot of games. But at the same time, when you're not coming from a school that's in the SEC, the ACC, it's tough to get going in this league, especially when you're undrafted. I definitely had some struggles my senior year. My junior year, I was all conference. My freshman year, I was all American. And, just like mental health, like my career had a lot of ups and downs. And so, when I first got into the league, coming in undrafted to New York, I had a lot of other opportunities from other teams, but I just felt like New York was a good fit. It was my favorite team growing up, and I was a huge fan of Darrell Revis at the time. So just getting to go be in the locker room with the guy like that I had so much respect for meant a lot. So I did my first year with New York. Started off on practice squad, and then just kind of earned everything I got in this league. Worked my way up, and then ended the season on the 53-man roster. And then from there on out, my second year I had some injuries, and then my third year finally getting to start some games and really see my potential in this league get shown, and getting to start some games against my guy, one of my good friends, Jamal Adams. That was a pretty cool experience. And then so after my first 3 years, going into my fourth year, we got a new GM, new coach, and I remember the day when the GM got fired. You could definitely tell things was going to change around the building, and the new GM wasn't. He was pretty serious about that. So
they let stomping me through there.
Yeah, he came cleaning up house, man. He came stomping in there cleaning up house. And when they let me go, he really didn't have an excuse. He was just like, we just gonna go a different direction. And I'm like, okay, what can I do better? And it really wasn't even nothing he could say, So I got picked up week 2 by Miami after they traded Mika Fitzpatrick. They signed me, and then I was there for most of the season, and then ended up going to Jacksonville, and then I've been there since 2019.
You like it better there?
I mean, to be honest, man, I'm ready to win some games. You know what I'm saying? Be honest, I mean, 1-15. I ain't been 1-15 my entire life. You know what I'm saying? So, losing is not something I come from. I won a lot of games in college, and I'm trying to win some games in this league and see what it feels like.
Don't downplay Appalachian State. Now, if I remember, were you there?
We won a lot of games now. We won a lot of games.
You beat Penn State. Were you on the team that beat Penn State or Michigan?
No, I wasn't in between my years. But, my senior year,
oh, okay.
It was the first year to win a bowl game. We won a lot of games. I think we lost like maybe 1 or 2 games my senior year.
What kind of injury did you have? You said you had some injuries.
Yeah, it's tough. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's a tough game. It's a very physical game, and to really come in this game and not have any injuries at all is like pretty much impossible. Like, my second year, I tore my right pec, and then coming back the next year, I tore my left pec. And then it's injuries that I've had that most people don't even know about. Like, I give you an example. Like, I broke my pinky finger. Dislocated it the day before a game, had surgery, and then played, the whole game like 2 days later. You know what I'm saying? So it's things that go on that, people really don't even kind of notice or understand. And you just got to do what you got to do,
Brother, I know a few people who went to the league, and I know a few people who went in different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know one guy who went to Grand Valley in college. He went to Grand Valley, and he was like a damn near a superstar at Grand Valley. He said he went to either a tryout or something happened where he was working out with an NFL team. He said them motherfuckers hit so hard.
Yeah.
He went to one practice. He said they was hitting him so hard that he just decided, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a physical game, man. You talking about, guys that's 220, 230, running 4.3s, 4.4s. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of power, a lot of weight being shifted around out there. So it's definitely a pretty physical game for sure.
It was like night and day. Getting hit in college and then getting hit in the NFL, he said that shit is like night and day.
Yeah. It's way, especially coming from App State, like we play big schools, but like it's a competition level. Like you got guys that's like, good at every position. In college, you be like, oh, this guy, you ain't really got to worry about him too much. Like, they can only do so much. like in the league, like, everybody good. So, everybody got to be taken seriously. So, the preparation is where it's a lot different, compared to college. I think in college, I prepared a ton, but like I said, like it was different things that you knew that God simply wasn't nowhere close to, as talented as you were. So you weren't even really worried about him like that. But it's way different.
And clearly, when you go from college to the pros, right? I mean, the pros is a job. Like this is your job now. You got it. And I do think and I know we're going to get into more on the mental health side, but how does that take a toll on you? I mean, you're out there playing. You went 1-15 last year. I mean, that had to be tough. I mean, you got Jacksonville people. I mean, from a mental standpoint, I can't even imagine how you kind of get through that.
I ain't gonna lie, it's tough. It's definitely tough on your mental health. I mean, even when you talk about the injuries that I've had, it's a tough journey, and I guess the best way I can describe it is that, it is your job. It is how you provide for your family. And you just got to know, like, Urban comes in and says this, like, just because we had a bad team don't mean we had bad players. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that was going wrong throughout the process. There was definitely some players that definitely need to be replaced. And that's going to happen as time goes on. But you really just got to stay positive. And to be honest, like at 1-15, there's not many things you can stay positive about, but at the end of the day, you're making a sacrifice for your family, you provide for your family, and that's the part that you got to focus on. And all the other stuff will kind of take care of itself. You just got to continue to put the work in. And I mean, you see it like, a lot of these teams, they be losing, and then they get a quarterback. Next thing you know, they're going to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not necessarily
it can
like
turn around quick.
Yeah, it can turn around quick, and especially when we got a coach that knows how to win, that's came from winning. That's definitely what we're looking to do. Urban said we're trying to turn around in a year, not a couple of years. I mean, this next year we're trying to turn it around. But just speaking more on that mental health side, like I've had injuries. I got the second year I got injured. I was just trying to figure out like, how can I make myself a better person outside the game of football? Because, the game of football only lasts so long. You know what I'm saying? You can only play this game so long. So now I'm thinking like, how can I use the platform that I developed as an athlete, that's going to carry me, the rest of my life. And so I went back to school and got my master's in public administration, did some internships. And, I really found my passion for working with student athletes and also working for like local government, like doing, grassroots type of work in the community. And then fast forward another year, I got hurt again. So now I'm really struggling mentally. I really don't understand like what's kind of going on. And now, I'm questioning my faith. Like I'm questioning a lot of different things of what, what exactly God got planned for me, because I really don't understand what's going on. And then at that time, I struggled bad, man. It was tough. And
was this before or after the new GM came in and then you went to?
Nah, this is before.
Oh, this is before. Okay.
So yeah. So, this is my third year when I got hurt the second time. I had already made it back from my injury. Started primetime games. Made plays, national TV. You know what I'm saying? I already got to kind of like my career really taking off and accelerating, and then I got hurt again, and now it's like another setback. It's like, dang, like, what is he trying to show me? What is he trying to tell me? What is God trying to show me? So, at that point, man, I really prayed a lot. I really, like I said, I really struggled just trying to figure out what exactly, was God, trying to show me. But what it came down to is really my support system, man. That's how I got through it. My girl, my friends, my teammates, my family, and I feel like that's the same thing you got to do, when you're struggling, outside of football, just really with your mental health, anybody. You got to have a good support system. You got to have some good people around you that you can talk to and really be real with, when you're going through it. And if you ain't got that, man, it's tough to get through it, because life's tough. You're going to always have curveballs. You're going to always have things that come out the woodworks. You just got to, you got to stay strong. And a lot of people, they don't really look at mental health until like something's going wrong, or you can't do it. You can't do it like that. With physical health, like you don't just go in the weight room and run around and jog around when you start feeling bad. You do that because you want to look good. You stay on top of it every day. And that's how you got to be with your mental health. Like, you got to treat it the same way. Like, if you want to stay, mentally strong and mentally healthy, like, you got to do things, every single day to make sure you're preparing yourself for when that next, negative thing comes in your life, because it's going to come.
Where you grow up at?
I grew up in Winston-Salem. Yeah. Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Winston-Salem?
Yeah, College of Trade 4. That's where I grew up at. And then,
were you made aware of therapy as a kid? Did you know anything about therapy as a kid or growing up at any time?
So to be honest, my mom was a social worker. My mom was a social worker growing up, and then my brother's in school for social work now, getting his master's. We live outside of Charlotte now, but I was made aware of it. But to be honest with you, Royce, like, it felt like every time I tried to talk to my mom, like, she was trying to sound like my therapist, you know what I'm saying, instead of being my mom. So it's like, sometimes it would kind of push me away from, like, even wanting to learn more about mental health, because I felt like every time I would talk to her, she trying to dissect what's going on with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I'm just trying to have a regular conversation. Like, oh, you must got something wrong. You need to do this. You need to do that. I'm like, nah, Mom, I'm just, I was the oldest. So it was, it was the first time that, they had a kid. So it was a learning process for both of us. But what really got me deep involved in the mental health is going into my second year. Like, my best friend since the age of 6, man, he started struggling with depression, severe depression, around my senior year in college. And then, like, my first year in the league, it started getting, like, really bad. Like, he didn't even want to take a shower. He didn't want to leave the crib. It was getting bad. And he had tried medicine. He tried different therapists. He was in and out the psychiatric unit, and it wasn't working. That shit wasn't working. Like, he was still struggling. And then it just came to a point in time, I'm like, I didn't know much about it. So I'm like, yo, bro, like, kind of snap out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, bro, like, let's go get some help. But, like, I'm kind of, like, bringing it to an angle where I know it's going to work. And that's not necessarily the case, because sometimes it may take you taking the 3-4 therapists before you find one that works. Sometimes it may take you, trying different medicines before, you find the one that works for you. Like, it's not one simple formula for getting you right back on track. And that's what I had to learn. I didn't learn that lesson until I already lost my best friend. So, going into my second year, my best friend suffered a death by suicide. And at the age of 22, 23, I'm sorry. And then when that happened, I spoke at his funeral at church, and I just talked about mental health. I talked about the things that he was struggling with. And really, the pastor got up there and he was just like, if you're dealing with mental health, you need to just come and pray about it. And then just kind of excluded, like, everything, all the things that I was saying, like therapy and having a counselor and all that type of stuff, and being on medicine. And he just kind of threw all that to the side. And when that happened, like, it was all type of people coming up to me after church saying they were struggling too. And they felt the things that I was saying. And that's when I knew I had to do something about it. And then that's when I started my foundation, Dreaming Impossible. But, man, it's just so many stigmas, especially in the African-American community, out about mental health. And so many people want to be tough guys. As African-American males, like, we expected to be the leaders of our family. We expected to, to stay strong. Like, that's what we've been doing for, like, the last couple hundred years. You know what I'm saying? We got to, whatever pain we're going through, we just got to suppress it and keep it going. And, we got to really find resources that can help us. If you really want to be the best version of yourself, if you really want to be consistently successful, you gotta give yourself some resources to stay mentally strong. And that's what I'm trying to do, bring awareness to that. And just let people know that, like, you don't need to just go talk to somebody when you're going through something. If you really want to be the best version of yourself, you gotta do it even when you're feeling good.
I agree, man. I mean, I noticed the stigma associated with mental health and just therapy. Probably, I've been sober for 8 years. Probably around 2 years into my sobriety, me myself going to therapy, I started really. It was probably a mixture of sobriety and going to therapy. I just started seeing things different as I started to evolve. Then I realized that all of those years prior to, I had been missing out on a lot of key development, and one of the major components is communication. You know what I mean? So I didn't realize the effect that suppressing every single emotion growing up would have on me. and would have on every decision that I made in terms of my career, every decision that I made with my wife, with my girl. Like, I've been with my girl since high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you brought up in a souped up pseudo masculine environment where the measuring stick for cool is souped up masculinity, tough guy shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the measuring stick for cool. Then, you know, like, you don't deal with a single emotion. Like, the last few funerals that I went to, I specifically remember trying to cry, looking for it, couldn't find it. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just like, I thought I was looking crazy because I was the only one that wasn't crying, but I just couldn't. You know what I mean? So it was like, I was totally at a point where I wasn't in touch with any of my feelings to be able to articulate them, unpack them, and get them off me. So I'm just carrying around shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think you made a great point there. Like, because that's what, you know, like I said, my brother's in school for it right now, and that's something he always, like, when we go talk to people that may be, you know, considering suicide and maybe thinking about it, and we're trying to just really connect them to other resources and get them out of the immediate hole that they're in right now, just until they can go talk to somebody. It's like a lot of one thing I always see in common is how people suppress their emotions, man. You got to feel every emotion. You know what I'm saying? You got to embrace it. Like, you know, whether it's pain, whether it's happiness, whatever it is, like, you can't really just push it off to the side. And like you said, as African Americans, I mean, I can't think of too many times I've seen my pops cry. You know what I'm saying? My pops was a great father, but at the same time, I can't think of too many times where I've seen him, like, literally show like weakness, or like show, like, you know, that he was struggling, or that, like, it was some things that he needed, you know, some help with, or, you know, it was some pain that he was going through. It was like, I just never saw that, you know. And it was like, as I grew up older as a man, it was like, that was, I really struggled with that too, until now, like, I'm learning more about mental health and learning how to, you know, really embrace my emotions. Before then, like, I would suppress it all too, man. I get injuries, like, oh, you know, push it to the side. Like, I got to keep it going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whether I have failure in school or failure, you know, going through life, I just got to suppress it and just keep it going. And then all that stuff adds up. And not only does it add up, but it influences the way you see things. It changes your whole perception about life. And I think perception is, like, you know, a really critical word, because, you know, all four of our perceptions can be different. You know, all four of our backgrounds can be different. We may see, like, we may be all four staring at a TV, but we may all see the TV different. And that's based on, you know, our background. That's based on our education. That's based on the life we live, the people we've been around, you know. And I feel like your mental health has a definitely has an impact in that too, you know. So I'm all in on mental health, man. It's something that's definitely changed my life, and I just want to, you know, empower other people, empower, you know, young student athletes, people in our community, and let them know, man, because, like, people ain't got to struggle like this, man. It's life is tough. Don't get me wrong, but it don't got to be like this, you know.
I call it an amenity. I call therapy an amenity that's not offered to us. It's like we stand at a hotel and it's a gym downstairs, but we can't use it.
Exactly. Why do you think? And Doug, I'm a white guy, if you hadn't noticed.
No, you good.
Why do you think that? What are the factors that make this, for an African American, like, it's a low awareness? Like, why do you? Because both of you kind of allude to the fact that that's kind of more your background. Like, because I would feel the same way. I think I've seen my dad cry maybe twice in his whole life. Like, what makes you think that it's more of an African American issue than it is just a male issue?
I would say, I mean, I read Charlemagne's book. I think he made some good points in it. You know, I can't remember the title of it, but he talks about mental health for African Americans and how it dates all the way back to slavery days, and it was like a, you know, pain we had to suppress, and, like, all those emotions that we had back then and there, you know, from slavery to civil rights, like, all that's still being suppressed and all that's being carried with us through this day, and, like, it's being passed down and passed down. I mean, I think that's one of the things. And then if you look at, like, you know, the economic structure of our people, you know, a lot of our people are struggling financially. And, you know, when you look at it, it's like, okay, can I ever make it out this hole? Is it ever, like, a better, you know, a better life for me? And it's like, I think the problem is, like, with social media and our people, like, when you go on social media, you can literally log on and see one version of how people living like so much better than the other, and it's like immediately you can see that. So immediately you can see it, and then immediately you got to go back to the way you living. So it's like that's trauma there. Like I mean, people like trying to figure out ways to get out of this situation when you see somebody else living like that. It's like, well, dang, like how can I quickly change my life like that? And to be honest, there's no such thing as a quick fix in life. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as an overnight success. Like everything you do is, has been built up for years. Like I didn't just, make it to the league. Y'all didn't just become who y'all are today without, putting in those nights, over a long periods of time. And I think that's one part of it too. Just every, are people looking for immediate success or are people just struggling as a whole, and
I think the way that therapy is framed to us as Black people, the way it's framed to us, and the idea that's in our mind about what therapy is a person that's sitting in a room and you're gonna lay like on a couch and they're gonna fix you. You know what I mean? So the first thing we think is, I don't need to be fixed. If you're talking about somebody who hasn't dealt with an emotion his entire childhood, then obviously there's going to be pride there. There's going to be ego there. I don't need to be fixed. Not only do we not go to therapy, but we don't go to the doctor either. In order for me to go to the doctor prior to therapy, something would have had to been bleeding from somewhere. Something would have had to been opened up. I would have had to have excruciating pain. And the only doctor I would go to is the emergency room. Like when I got sober and I went to the doctor because I didn't want to experience withdrawal symptoms, I was at a financial high and I didn't have health insurance. Tom, what's the earliest that you heard about therapy? What's the earliest that you were made aware of therapy that you can remember?
I mean, probably much younger. Probably teenager.
Did you ever go to therapy as a kid?
I never went as a kid. I went as an adult once, and I think we talked about this one time. I never kind of got into it. Like I never found the value in it, to be totally honest with you. And I think when we talked about it last time, you had made a good comment, and you said maybe it was the wrong therapist, and it very well could have been. I just never kind of connected with that particular person. That was the only time.
I got a question, Tom. Like, so did you ever see your dad show any emotions like that? Like, was there ever something like that you saw? Like, what about as far as your friend group when you was growing up? Were y'all able to really just be open with each other about some of the things that y'all was struggling with or going through?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you're ever completely open with your friends growing up. I mean, I think every kid, as a high school kid, there's a certain amount of you kind of hide in you, right? And my dad, I don't think the only time I ever saw my dad cry was probably at one of his brother's funerals, and that was about it. Like he was very much right here. You never saw him, get too high, too low. He was always right here, and that's I think I tend to be the same. But I think as I have kids now, I at least I'm trying to make it so that emotions are a much more open thing. It's all right to cry. It's all right to laugh. It's all right to get mad. It's all right to, that's not kind of where I came from. So that's kind of difficult at times.
But I got a follow up question. Did you ever have somebody tell you that therapy was bad or therapy was something that you shouldn't use, or like if you were going through something that's really crazy?
No, I don't think I've ever had anyone tell me it's a negative thing.
So Royce, those are common stigmas you hear in the African American community, like, oh, he just crazy, like, oh, he just got, if you have a boy across the street, he just, he retarded. You know what I'm saying? Just let him.
I ain't even talk to the guidance counselor at my school. I don't talk to no counselor. It's just inherently in us, man. It's like. I don't want to talk to nobody.
You get a whooping if you did something like that. That they use the resources. So now it's more or less not about like learning to use the resources. It's more about learning that it's okay to use the resources. That like you're not gonna get in trouble for using. Like these people aren't out to get you. Like these people aren't trying to like do something wrong to you.
They're here to help. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These people are like trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? So. That's how I would kind of view it. Like,
I think it's a little bit more complex than that, though. What's up, dude? I've been over here writing this script just in case you was wondering like what, how come Lupe ain't said nothing yet? Because I've been over here crafting magnificence on this side.
Better be amazing.
But I've been tuned really in. Amazing. Shut. Let me work. Let me cook. You can put my 2 cents in. I think it's a little bit more complex in the sense that it's individual case by case. So everybody didn't receive the same kind of incentive or de-incentive as it relates to kind of mental health and things like that. Some people just literally had abusive people in their life, that they were afraid to speak to. People were afraid of their dads. Some people were afraid of their moms. Whether they were aware of a mental health framework or system or not, there was just a way that the community was constructed and crafted. In some cases, the father wasn't even there at all. But there's other kind of aspects where, you think about like that dude is crazy. It's not just to be said. Like that dude has a mental or physical, has some type of imbalance about him or herself that therapy not finna fix. Like that person is mildly schizophrenic or has schizo tendency or mania or things like that. What's the other one? Bipolar, things of that nature. So there are folks in the community and through all communities, right? And I've seen it in, fortunately being able to be intimate in different people's situations and circumstances from all walks of life. My first friend was white, which is probably why I like white people so much. Maybe that is why I like white people so much. But my first friend I was white, but I was like 3 or 4. He was like 10 or something like that. Right. And I remember just kind of from time to time, I mentally go back to like, but he was the friend next door. Like he's literally right across our driveway. And he had like a bunch of Coca-Cola. And it was like, how did he get so much Coca-Cola in his basement?
Man, I thought you was about to say something else, bro.
He was too.
Nah, but I remember when we stopped becoming friends. This ain't to put him on blast or even put the situation on blast. But I remember we stopped being friends because he wanted me to cuss. He's like, if you cuss, then you could go home. And I was like, no, I ain't finna do all that, right? And it was just kind of like a more of like a moral thing of what I was used to. But I bring all that up to say is, I've been in different situations with different peoples from different walks of life, from different races, different backgrounds, different classes. And it's consistent. I feel like that mental health access, whether you have access to it or not, whether it's incentivized for you to go or not, there's people dealing with kind of maladjustments to either their communities, their family situations, their school situations. And you would think that, man, they got it better on the other side, but it goes back to that adage, the grass is greener always on the other side, right? So I'm looking at my friend Mike, they got Coca-Cola and all type of other stuff in their basement, but he got this situation where it's like, man, you want me to cuss to leave? Like that ain't like some about that is a little bit weird. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you look on either side of the fence, you're going to see things and maybe make assumptions about how people live and how people moving. Another fact is you think about suicide rates. The suicide rates are super high in white. The white male is the most prone to commit suicide, right? For various reasons. And there was a study, and I referenced it a lot, and I apologize for kind of being verbose right now, but I referenced it a lot where there was a black woman who did this study. I think she was black. And it was like, white males commit more suicide than anybody else. They're more prone to commit suicide. But she was looking at but if you look at the black community, you look at homicide, she was like, what if homicide is actually suicide? Right. And the way she spent it was like, white males, they look at like they're white males. The system is supposed to be for them. They supposed to be getting everything that they want. They supposed to be able to just do whatever they want. And there's a realization that they ain't. People don't really care about them like that. You don't really have, certain people have juice and certain people don't. Same thing like you said in the black community. You go on social media, certain, celebrities and just people who know how to get it out there balling crazy. But then you flip on the other side, it's people who struggling. And then folks who sit in the middle. So it's like this white male complex where they even drank the Kool-Aid and was like, yeah, I'm white, I'm male, I'm supposed to have X, Y, Z, da, da, da. They get out there in the world, they losing jobs to people. They can't compete on the football field. They can't do this. They can't do that. And they feel like that it's weird because the system that's supposedly for them don't pushes them away. Then she was like, on the reverse, when you look at a black male, know the system not for him, right? Like it's kind of like a given, like the system not for me, so I ain't even finna try. You know what I'm saying? The system, I'm not even finna try and go to school. I'm not even trying to do this because it's the narrative is that it's not for me, right? Even though you got brothers and sisters who work quite well, you know, they go to school, they do they get their degrees, they get their jobs, they do X, Y, Z. And she was saying one of the reactions to that was homicide rates, you know? So it kind of end in the same kind of drives a maladjustment to your place in society, but it spills out for white males into suicide, and it spills out for black males into homicide, right? They want to kind of project it onto other folks, whereas white folks take it upon themselves. So it's interesting. I bring all that up to say, you know, it's interesting that as it may seem very simple in general, but as you go case by case, person by person, and start opening up the bag and start looking into people's lives and how they mental states and stuff like that, man, I see it consistent through society. Bringing up Hotel Cecil too, Tom, like thinking about when we had a whole thing, Doug, talking about watching Hotel Cecil on the podcast a few episodes ago. And when you watch that joint, you know, it's a Chinese woman with a serious mental issue, you know, serious mental breakdown that led to her, you know, unfortunately killing herself. And you wouldn't think that, like, Chinese people, they got it good. You know, like, why would she, like, no, she has a mental illness that she needs, when she stopped taking her medication, just like if anybody stopped taking their medication, you know, they're going to have a problem. And wanted to, like, the whole reason that she left on the little journey was because she wanted to feel normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't want to be on the pill. She didn't want to kind of have that description that she has, that she, like, she's closed in from the world, that she has to go through this and go through that. She was like, I just want to be free. You know, and her going after that freedom, you know, coming off her medication, she eventually ended her demise. So, you know, I just think it's a little bit more complicated, you know, for everyone.
Bottom line,
yeah,
we're all a little bit crazy.
A little bit.
All of us. And
and I always say, I think it's true. I think we're all crazy. We could all use some help.
I think to build off of what Lupe said, like, just that last part, like, you know, a lot of people want, you know, they want to fix the situation that they're going through. Like, they don't want to choose suicide. It just, like, they think suicide is going to temporarily solve their problems, and really it's you know, suicide is a permanent solution. Like, there's no coming back from that. And you know, people just kind of want the pain to go away. But when you look at it, like, I think you made a good point about, like, how, you know, trauma or even, you know, tough economical situations, like, impacts everybody. Like, it doesn't just impact, you know, black people one way or white people, you know, another way. Like, if you look at, like, okay, let's talk about COVID. Like, COVID disproportionately, you know, affected more African Americans more, you know, than, you know, other races. You know, if you want to look at the vaccine, like, why do we have a whole stigma about, you know, with our people about not going to get the vaccine when it's something that impacted us more than any other group of people? You know what I'm saying? But we the ones that don't want to go get it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I say all that to say, like, when we, you know, feel like a certain trauma, or we feel like a certain, you know, a certain tough situation, economic or whatever it is, you know, we do struggle the same as other people. But I feel like, you know, when you talk about that system, like, sometimes you feel like the system's not made for you. Like, no matter what resources may be out there, or what resources are probably, you know, trying to be presented, you feel like, you know, that ain't made for me. That ain't really going to help me get through what I got to get through. And, you know, it's the same thing when you plug and play it, you know, with COVID. Like, the vaccine is out there. For some reason, I'm not going to get it. I don't know why. I just, you know, I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like, you know, I want to go get it. You know what I'm saying? I can't even really explain it to you. I know I need to go get it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just something that's like saying, oh, you know, the system ain't set up for me to get there. Like, the system don't care about me. You know what I'm saying? When that's not even the case. You know, so
you feel like the system care about you?
Sometimes, I mean, you look at it. I mean, I look at the guy that just got killed in Elizabeth City. You know, and they gonna release to the family like a 15-second clip of the whole, you know, body cam. You know, I don't really even, I mean, I don't know all the details, but I know they haven't received the entire footage of the body cam, you know, as far as from today. I know that there's a problem as far as, you know, I forgot who it was that came on Charlamagne's show, and he talked about, like, how, you they're doing a state of emergency. They got all these different bills for Asian hate, for hates of other races.
You talking about Umar?
Yeah. But when you talk about, I'm on the lobbying group with athletes for the George Floyd crime bill. Like, they don't want to. We got to talk to people to try to get that passed. Like, that's not just something that's going to pass through. Like, they don't, what I'm saying, they don't want to do that. But when it's something like these other bills that got effect, on these other races, like, they pass just like that. So when you talking about stuff like that makes me question, like, is the system really set up for me to win? You know what I'm saying? Of course, I know they don't, they're not going to present every resource out there for us to win, but, like, are there things that's going to hinder us from, if I take this vaccine, is that going to set me back? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I think like that, whether it's right or wrong, you know what I'm saying? It's probably not, but.
Well, off top, the vaccine is not going to set you back, and you should get vaccinated. I think, especially in your position.
Yo, Doug, that's they fucking words. That ain't my words.
That's Lupe telling you. And I say this. I say this because for the past. No, I don't rock with Dr. Umar. Just FYI, I barely rock with Charlamagne personally, right?
Yeah.
But I respect people's positions. But and as it relates to the vaccine and nothing else, I've spent time the past year just in conversation and in concert with Black doctors, Black epidemiologists, people of color, virologists, people directly involved with manufacturing the vaccines, and being in discourse with them and being invited into rooms with them to speak to the public in a massive way. That I stand on, like, there's nothing, unless you have a very specific history of allergies, which is real, a history of blood clots and stuff like that, which is real. There's nothing in that vaccine that's going to adversely affect you to the degree that you have to risk catching COVID versus taking the vaccine, right? That's proven. The science is proven. One thing that's different between scientists and the average person or the average talk personality or radio show host is they can speak with a certain level of authority and kind of finality because that's what gives them their say so, right? They don't have to do the research, right? They don't need to have all the details to make an assertion. Science don't work like that. Scientists have to kind of be, like, hey, the research isn't fully in, so we can't definitively say, right? So it's going to be piece by piece. That's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of thoroughness, right? So it may some come out this week and it's like, well, this may be like this, that we still waiting. We're going to put things on pause just to see. That's not a sign that, oh, this don't work and we're trying to do this and we're trying to do that. So just from me to you, not Royce, not Tom, me to you, I think a person of your stature, you ain't got nothing to really worry about. Again, I don't know your medical history, but if you ain't got, if you ain't walking around with an EpiPen, you ain't got to worry about going into a seizure because you're getting a dose of vaccine. I think a brother like you, especially in the public purview, especially with the problems that you're trying to solve, and what you think are problems, getting the vaccines out the way is just one aspect of that. That same mentality is folks who won't take their pills, who won't take their antipsychotics, right? Who won't take those antidepressants and take those other things because it's the same way. Right. So you're going to be right back in the same loop of, no, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that blood pressure medicine. I'm not finna be on them pills. I'm not finna be on that. Well, then diet. I'm not finna diet. I ain't finna do that. I finna do that. You just keep going to what you don't want to do. But then when all these problems and issues burst forth on the scene, it's the system, it's their fault, So I just, and that's just my 2 cents.
It's the system that's pushing the drugs and shit onto those people. Like, those drugs they don't cure anything. Like, those antidepressants don't cure anything. That blood pressure medicine don't cure anything. That's just set up for you to continue to just buy prescriptions. You have to diet. You have to go through rigorous therapy. You have to start learning how to unpack things. That's the way that you get through it. They don't make drugs to fix people.
But
it doesn't work.
It's folks who went too far. It's too late. It's one thing to be at kidney failure. It's another thing for your kidneys to be failed. It's another thing to be at pre-diabetic. It's another thing to be diabetic. It's one thing to be at hypertension. It's another thing to actually have it, right? And your options are slim. You can't diet, right? At that point, you got to have some type of intervention medically, at least for a period of time, so you don't suffer through it. I mean, hypertension, blood pressure, all that stuff is real. And that there's some impacts that to say if it's not to fix it or it's not to cure it, but to help manage it, to help alleviate people's symptoms, it's folks out here suffering with that type of stuff. So I'm with it. If you can do the due diligence prior to even crossing those thresholds and becoming sick and acquiring those diseases, and do the diet and do all of the behavior and everything you need to do so you don't cross that line, then fine. But for the folks who have crossed that line, I think they need to kind of look at, what can happen on a pharmaceutical level to at least help them from a day to day, or not, or don't do it and thug it out. Either way.
That's what I recommend with the virus, because I don't want to conflate. I don't want to talk about 60 different things at once. With the virus, I'm not going to try to talk people out of doing it. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I encourage people to, especially black people, make an educated decision. Like Lupe said, like he did the research. He feels strongly about doing it. You know what I mean? So whatever decision you're going to make, just make sure that you're not being trusting. We haven't been given a reason to be trusting of any system that is America. So just go do the research and then make a decision based off of your own due diligence. And whatever that is, that is. Shit, I may have put way worse things into my system in the past. You know what I'm saying?
I have a feeling you have, yes.
Yeah, so I don't,
So out of curiosity then, there's no mandate by the NFL about whether or not you have to get the...
Yeah, I mean, just a bit off last before I answer that question, like on Lupe's point. Like as far as like when you talk about mental illnesses, there are some mental illnesses where they do come from a chemical imbalance. So you do need some type of therapeutic, some type of medicine. So, I mean, that's legit. You know what I'm saying? My whole opinion about the vaccine, like, I'm not totally against it. My thing is like, I just personally feel, from my own point of view, that the research hasn't been long enough, based on what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to see, what the reactions are 2-3 years down the road. But for me to look at it and say, a vaccine that's been around that got passed, an emergency use like that fast, like, that sit here and say I'm gonna be the first one to get in line for it, when I don't even feel like I'm in a high risk, one of the high risk categories. I definitely want my parents to get it. I would never tell nobody not to get it. Like I want my parents to be the first one to sign up and go get it. I encourage them and push them to get it. But for me, when I'm not in nowhere near the high risk category, or even, I've never gotten a flu vaccine or anything like that. So, for me to go say, hey, I'm gonna just hurry up and go get this is kind of, just kind of stuck with me. And then to answer your question, Tom, like as far as the NFL, like, they can't make us do anything. I mean, they can suggest that, like, hey, we really, want you to get it, and they've done that. They provided every educational video, teaching conferences, like everything, every resource you can get on the vaccine, they provided it. I just feel like I need to do some more research, like Lupe and Royce talked about. Like, I need to go do some more of my own research. I'm not totally against it at all. Like, I welcome people to get it. But for me to feel comfortable with it, I just think I need to do a little bit more research, or even wait a little bit more time. You know what I'm saying? I've had COVID. God willing, like I was okay. So I keep up my health in other different ways. So I just want to wait a little bit longer, and that's not nothing against any whatever everybody else feels about it.
Well, Doug, we appreciate you swinging by and talking about it. For everyone who wants to go check out the foundation, it's dreamtheimpossible.org. Definitely check it out. You're doing great things. I appreciate you coming on. I have to ask you before you get off, though, prediction for this year. What's the record for the Jacksonville Jags?
Yeah, we got to win some games, man. I'm trying to go to the playoffs. So, that's definitely my prediction for it. Making it to the playoffs.
The playoffs. I'm writing it down.
Write that down, Tom. Write down, Doug.
Me, man.
Yeah, write it down.
What y'all need?
Damn.
From running backs or what? What y'all need? Y'all need linebackers?
We got 10 draft picks. They gonna draft every position. I mean, they drafting everybody.
Royce, I think what position are you coming in, Royce?
Anything, wherever you need me at. And, somebody happen to pull a hamstring, something like that, huh?
They drafting everybody, man. So if you can get it done, man, I'm sure they give you a look right now.
Oh man, Royce, do you see how he just slightly threw a shot at you though? He's like, they drafting any old body, so
Anyone.
go on ahead, Royce.
No. I'm just saying.
Go on ahead, any old bodies nowadays.
I ain't saying like that. I'm just saying they ready to definitely make some moves, man. Like this whole city wants to win. You know what I'm saying? The guys in the locker room want to win. We know.
Man, have y'all ever thought about cheating? Cheating is a thing. Like it has its upsides. I'm just saying. I'm gonna just throw that out there. That cheating.
We're gonna try to do it the right way first. If it don't work the right way, I'm gonna definitely
thank you. Please do it that way.
I mean, maybe come out
the right way.
Maybe come out with the other team uniform on. So just to maybe throw things off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a little.
Don't listen. Work out, eat right, go play football.
There you go, Tom. I will say this before I get off though. Like, Lupe, I used to listen to your show goes on, like that song. I used to listen to that song before every game, like high school and college. Like, so like I got a lot of respect for you. Appreciate the opportunity y'all let me get on. And
you got it.
Yeah, and Royce, hey, I love that song Tabernacle. That's one of the hits.
Thank you, my brother.
I really like. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you coming on too, man.
And just treat your mental health just as seriously as your physical health. I guess that's my last word. And then, just dreamimpossible.org and then 36DM_era on IG.
Oh man, shout
Thank you for all that you do, Doug.
Good luck.
Keep doing your thing and go Jags.
Yes, sir,
my brother.
Listen, good luck with the rest of the season until you meet them Bears. And then I can't wait for y'all to lose. I hope y'all lose every game against the Bears because it's Chicago or nothing. I just want to throw that out there, but that's what we talk about that offline. That's all.
I still got my patch from Little League at the crib, dog. Let me know if you need me to suit up, bro.
All right, Doug. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Thank you, Doug.
My bro.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank.
The Lupe and Royce Show is a production of Say What Media.
Have you thought about hosting your own podcast but don't know where to start?
Working with Say What Media is like having your own personal producer, editor, audio engineer, and distributor, all in one place.
From equipment recommendations to engineering and distribution, Say What Media handles the boring details so you can focus on saying interesting stuff.
Get started at saywhat.media.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank.
That was Doug Middleton from dreamtheimpossible.org and the safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think that maybe he should listen to more Show Goes On in his NFL career post-college. I think that might have been the difference in winning games and not, man, is him listening to that song. So I cordially invite all the winners and losers to get you some Show Goes On in your life, streaming right now on Spotify and Apple Music. You understand?
It would have been a good way to get through those injuries.
Yeah, injuries, man. I'm injured right now, so I understand. I was doing my show, my hip was like,
I think he said when he first started getting injured is when he first started experiencing, like kind of like issues with just, mild like depression and shit like that. Just questioning things, overthinking things and shit like that.
I mean, that injury life is...
I would imagine that big business on that level, there's some degree of players being made to feel like they're disposable.
Oh, absolutely.
Replaceable.
Absolutely.
So that's
can you imagine you get a new coach, a new GM, they come in the building and like what happened to him in New York, and they're just like, you're gone. You're gone. I mean, that has to crush you. That your whole life you have been wanting to play in the NFL and to be cut. That's got to be devastating.
Ain't that part of it? Like getting cut, beating the other team, hurting people, sending people home. Like, I mean, that's part of the program. I don't really have no sympathy on that side because it's like, bro, that's part of the program.
I played basketball in high school, right? And I played on the highest level of high school ball at my high school, right? So I went to tryouts. I played varsity in the 9th grade. I went to tryouts just to get some run. Getting cut is a part of it, but it never was nothing that entered my mind. So imagine you go to look at that list and you one of the motherfuckers cut. You didn't even consider yourself to even be that. I'll sympathize with that.
But I guess what I'm saying is this is an athlete who his entire life was probably the best guy on the team. In high school, in college.
The whole field. That's the whole field in the NFL.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's such a different world.
Yeah.
It's
a business.
It's
a business.
There's this book, are you familiar with Kwanzaa Kunjufu, Royce? I mean, you love him. He's right up your revolutionary alley. He's a brother. He's a writer. No, real talk. He was a writer who had a series of books called "The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys." Countering the conspiracy to destroy black boys. He and part of that was he had this and he did another great book called To Be Popular, To Be Smart, which is fascinating, right? And his intensity is on black kids, right? But understanding the context in which it all lives and evolves. But anyway, he had a piece in that about sports, and how as much as we look at sports as being like central kind of dogma, tying the community together, come together, communal point type thing. I mean, there's a built-in fallacy in sports that, that's somewhat dangerous, to a degree. Not saying just physically, but in terms of the narrative where you like, everybody not finna make it. But people like you said, Tom, they pitch their whole life at the expense of everything else. Education, some folks learning how to read, like all these things because they're going to play sports. Right, it's something similar to music, man. I'm finna be a rapper. I'm finna just sell drugs, or I'm finna do that. Like those macro narratives where they put all of their kind of energy into it, and then realize like, man, you just 1 in 7 million. Like the competition for that one spot, right? It's 7 million people gunning for that one spot, right? Whether it's baseball, football, whatever it may be. And because it's not necessarily you divorce from the intellectual side of it, like they're not drafting you to write plays, right? Like they just drafting you to fill a position. You just a body, and because it's extracted from that kind of intellectually, it's just your body, right? And your body will break, one play. You come out first day drafted, first game, first play. And ruin your career, right? Be gone, be done, right? Forever. It's something about kind of countering, again, using our brother Dr. Kunjufu's words. I think it's Kunjufu. I apologize if I'm saying his name wrong. Countering that narrative, man, of like it got to be a little bit more, like if you're gonna be like there has to be a certain level of demand of like, man, if you finna play sports, then you got to be at least 4.0. And I know some programs that are like that, and some schools where they push you to have that the academic standard is really high as well as the sports. And in some cases it might even be the academics is what's high, and you just so happen to play sports really well as well. But I mean, that's dangerous, bro. Like to a degree. I don't want to downplay anyone. Shout to Doug and everybody who came on, other fighters and sports people that we know, even me myself doing martial arts. There has to be something in addition to just often to just play football, because you got CTE, you got all type of concussions and all type of financial illiteracy, all type of stuff that's in there, and people just devote their whole life to it. And if all it takes is one play at practice and you're done.
I mean, I think there's that aspect of it, and then there's also, I mean, what's awesome about sports and what's horrible about sports is there's a winner and a loser, right? I mean, you do everything you possibly can to win that game, yet there's going to be a loser in it too. And how many of us can remember? Like, I can't imagine being a professional athlete at that level and being on that stage and and not succeeding, right? Like I can still remember Scott Norwood. You guys aren't football guys, but he missed a kick in the Super Bowl to lose the game. Like the Buffalo Bills, who were in the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and lost all 4, and they had a chance to beat the Giants. And I don't even know why I remember this, but Scott Norwood. Like I don't know Scott Norwood, but I remember that Scott Norwood failed.
Yeah,
30 years ago.
That's because Scott Norwood didn't do enough shit to outshine that fail. I feel like the losses, I feel like the L's is par for the course. It's just part of it, and I feel like there's a narrative, definitely. If you go through the public school system as a top tier kind of athlete, as a stellar athlete, you get pushed through. You know what I mean? And a lot of these neighborhoods and public schools, they don't have the funding. They don't have the funding, like the curriculum isn't up to par. You know what I mean? To be able to compete with some of the prep athletes. You know what I mean? So a lot of times the attention that they get from being a standout athlete is what they're drawn to. So that's what they focus everything on. You know, so it's more than just a narrative. It's a whole construct. You know what I'm saying? So I think if we want to talk about fixing that, then shit, we got to fix the schools. We got to fix the environments. We got to fix a whole lot of shit, because it's a whole lot of academically stellar fucking prep athletes. Shit. Chris Webber. Okay, Chris Webber was from the hood, right? Jalen Rose was from a different hood. He's from Southwest. Chris Webber was from the hood, but Chris Webber went to Country Day, and that's basically a school deep in the suburbs. It's like a prep school. They've been watching him since he was a little kid. So his academic journey was completely different from Jalen's. Jalen went to Northwestern. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't really get crazy academic schooling until he actually went to U of M. You know what I mean? So you
they both ended up
out
there,
of that shit, but you don't have to go like to college and like only take courses that, you know what I'm saying, like some bullshit courses. You can get the most out of the experience, but you just got to be informed to some degree. You know what I mean? Like my man said it. My man used the perfect word, man. Perspective. If you're able to place perspective on it, that's why I keep going back to therapy. And even when some of the points you was making, Lou, like outside of just the problems that are like plaguing everybody's community, bipolar disorder, all suicide, all of the outside of that, that's not the disparaging rate in which black people are affected is just access to therapy and the stigma associated around therapy. Thinking that it's all about you got to have bipolar disorder, you got to have something to need therapy. It's something that helps you develop, and we don't get that in our communities because we looking at the TV screen and we looking at Jay-Z and whoever on our TV screen, and we're thinking that their dollar is worth more than our dollar. You know what I mean? Like when I didn't go to college, I thought I just wasn't smart enough to go to college. Maybe people were just smarter than me until I talked to a psychologist years later, and she drew correlation between how artists, people who end up being artists, how they perform in regular public school environments where it's a whole class and they're not getting individual treatment. You know what I'm saying? She was like, "You daydream a lot?" I was like, "Yes." She was like, "See, a lot of producers are like that. That's why they take to video games and shit like that." Somebody was supposed to notice or catch on to your inclination to music or creativity and put you in a performing arts school. So you can have smaller classes and you can have the attention on you that you need, and you can develop some of these natural tendencies and inclinations that you have. Like the first time I saw my son doing this in the kitchen, beating on the table, I took him straight to Guitar Center and got him a machine. I got him everything he needed, and he ain't unpacked that shit, Lou, for like 2 years. Then one day I was walking by the basement door, and I just heard snares in the basement. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He down there beating on the pads. Now he a singer. He write all his own songs. He produce all his own songs. So he's very, very evolved in terms of an artist because he got an early start because I nurtured it because I got a late start.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank.
Logitech is proud to present Logitalk, a series featuring the makers, the creators, and the groundbreakers who are pushing beyond all reason to change the world.
You're listening to the Lupe and Royce Show with Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and Tom Frank.
Shout to Doug Middleton for checking in. And we're going right into...
Bro, why do I got so many lines, man?
This week's edition of Radio Theater. Are y'all ready? So today, ladies and gentlemen, and Sergio... No rehearse. Listen, man, no rehearsing. We got to jump into this. Don't read it. Stop. We got to do this live and raw.
I don't see any tease.
Shut up, Tom. Stop complaining. Y'all ready? Okay, so today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, episode 2. It's called Time for a Change. We have Tom, who will be playing the record executive. Royce, who will be playing MC Sensitive. Ooh.
All right.
And I, Lupe Fiasco, will be playing DJ and assistant. So here's the scene. We at the record label. Royce is coming to have a meeting with, or MC Sensitive is coming to have a meeting with record exec. Y'all ready?
We're ready.
Okay.
Now, Royce, dig deep. Okay, I want you to dig, but don't dig too deep. But dig. Tom, I need you to just be as ruthless and white as you can. But I need you to be also subtle and almost vampiric in your approach. Okay. All right, here we go. He's here, sir.
Bring him in.
Royce enters.
MC Sensitive. Good to see you.
Peace and happiness, my good brother.
Have a seat. Do you need anything? How can we get MC Sensitive some hors d'oeuvres?
Oh, my brother, I just had a splendid vegan cheese plate. I am satisfied. I hear you want to talk to some prosperous business with I.
Oh, yes. So we here we're doing some research, and it seems to us that the industry is changing.
Oh, bless me with knowledge of these changes, oh sweet soul.
Trends are changing, and the audience isn't what it used to be. They want cutting-edge, hardcore content, something that speaks to the streets.
Ah, okay, I see. Street speak.
Gritty and rough.
But I'm not gritty and rough.
We know. And look, you're in a good place, but we just want to make sure that you are prepared for the changes that are happening.
Are my records not successful enough?
Oh, no. You can't stop cuddling, and I'm afraid of the streets. We're both top 10 smashes.
I love cuddling. And MC Sensitive is afraid of that streets.
Facts. But listen, what if we, I don't know, in preparation for the shift, start with a couple small changes?
Such as, sweet brother?
What if we move from MC Sensitive into something more intense? We're thinking Royce, the 5'9".
What kind of name is that? It has numbers in it.
Well, we tested it, and we think it has legs. Also, what if we went into another direction musically?
I don't know how to feel about this, sweet brother. I enjoy my music.
Yeah. We do too. But listen, what if we change the title for your upcoming album from Love Me Tenderly to Book of Ryan?
Book of Ryan? But my name's not Ryan. It's MC Sensitive.
Well, we think you can learn to love it.
This is all happening so fast, man. I don't know.
We know. And what if we remix Can't Stop Cuddling to Can't Stop Hustling?
Hustling? But that doesn't sound sensitive at all.
I mean, do you like guns?
Guns?
Can you bring the guns in, please? And the entourage.
Hey, this is much, much sweet, brother. Too much for MC Sensitive to bear.
Hey, it's time for change. Times 10.
But I don't want to change times 10.
It's time. Keep saying it's time for change. You're supposed to say.
Oh,
Yeah, keep saying it's time for change.
It's time for change. It's time for change.
And Royce, you say I don't want to change.
It's time for change.
To change.
It's time for change. It's time for change.
But I don't want to change.
It's time for change.
I don't want to change. I don't want to change.
It's time for change.
I don't want to change.
It's time for change.
I don't want
It's time for change.
It's not.
It's time for change. It's time for change. It's time for change. It's time.
Yo, Royce. Hey, Royce. Hey, man. Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, I must have dozed off. I had the craziest dream, man. I was at the fucking label.
Hey, look, you got to tell me about that later, man. We go on in 2 minutes, man. The show is packed. Guess we sold out tonight, man.
Oh, fuck. All right, yeah, I'm ready.
Hey, man, is you ready?
Let's get it.
Okay, cool. Oh, yo, so check it out. Tonight, we going to come out to Can't Stop Cuddling and then go straight into I'm Afraid of the Streets, okay? All right, I see you on stage.
No!
Dun, dun, dun.
Tom, I really think you need to step up your performance a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you missed your mark on a few spots.
I can't
carrying you like this.
I thought I played white executive.
I am a professional
who subtly tried to change your opinion on something very, very well.
Oh man, what
I
didn't know we were going into a dream sequence.
What metaphoric significance?
Did you see that? You see
this story have?
You see how it all fits today's theme for the show? You see how it all just kind of woven in naturally, like synchronicity? It was just a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but listen, man. That's why I was smiling when y'all was talking. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna fit perfectly." And just so you know, I didn't know Doug was coming on, and I didn't know what he was gonna talk about. I had this idea a few days ago, so this is something that was already just kind of in the books. It's a perfect fit.
Well, like record labels, for the most part, got artists afraid to be their natural selves.
But you ain't see the twist though.
It was all a dream.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Oh man, come on now. I thought see this was a nuanced piece, which is supposed to have
yeah. You know what fits more than that? I had a dream. I said about big. I said that version of it was all a dream.
Come on, man. It was supposed to be a twist of you waking up in the world, but you was Royce, but you was still MC sensitive because you was Royce outside of the dream in the real world, but we was gonna still perform Can't Stop Cuddling, which was your hit in the dream world when you was MC sensitive. It was like Twilight Zone.
There was a lot of hidden meaning in this.
The Royce in that script that you just wrote needs to lay off the LSD. All right, because that just sound like a trip that the Beatles was on.
Listen, man, I don't know if we're gonna be prepared. I don't know.
No, this one is great. This one is great. I think I could top it. I think I could top it.
Ooh. Is that a challenge?
It's why it got to be a challenge. It's just he need to do some of the work. That's what that is. Why it got to be a challenge?
No.
Everything about me is competitive.
I'm not a challenge, but I think we can creatively push each other here. I think
you can too.
Every week we set a bar, we can keep elevating the bar. So we know we can't go up. So if I come with a bullshit script next week, y'all gotta call me out on that.
Okay, so wait, are you writing the script for next week? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
If you will allow me to.
Allow you to? This is your show. What are you talking about?
Do it.
Yeah, man, but listen, man. I don't like bringing out my inner Jordan Peele all the time.
Here we go.
You know, like that's
you don't.
That's like
why you
dark
keep
side
referencing him like you know him like that? Like, why do you keep doing that?
I am him.
Boom.
Yo, what up? This is Lupe Fiasco, and make sure you get some therapy.
Oh, what up? This is Royce 5'9", and I'm gonna make sure this nigga Luke gets some therapy.
And this is Tom Frank. In case you forgot, I was on the show because I just was in awe most of it.
We upstaged you this week, bro.
Yes, you did.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Yo, what up, Lupe and Royce? This is Charles from Gaithersburg, Maryland. Shout out to Tom as well, Maryland all the way. I just want to say thank you guys for putting on this podcast. I've been a longtime fan of both of you. Tom, thank you for moderating. You may be a regular dude, but you're doing an awesome job, astronomically well job. Much love to all three of you. Keep it up. God bless.
Such a pleasure to enjoy the Lupe and Royce podcast. You're two of the best MCs to ever do it. How does Tom know Royce and Lupe is my big question. Oh yeah, I'm KP Kev the Poet. I'm English, as you probably can tell by my voice, but I'm currently residing in Portugal because England was becoming more racist and more fascist.
I heard your voicemails was lacking freestyle. Well, crisis averted. Subject matter is intense. It's an invite to the circus. Hey, yo, Lupe! I might hit the site for the merch and I might make a purchase, but word on the street is a regular guy's been swiping your shirt, so I gotta double check the cloth because it might be refurbished. I'm kidding. Tom is a likable person, but he incited this work when inviting the wordsmith. Cracked open a monster. It's not the beverage Royce be quenching his thirst with, nevertheless I'm a servant. And tell him I learned it from Professor 5'9's masterclass lectures and sermons on how to get the texture on the eggs Benedict perfect, and I'm terrible at ending the verse, so Geronimo, Virginia, thank you guys.
That's our show for the week. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe or follow. Leave us a review and tell your friends to listen. The Lupe and Royce Show is a production of Say What Media. It's recorded and mixed by Claude Jennings. Our head writer is Lauren Sloat. I'm Tom Frank. And our theme music is by, who else? Lupe Fiasco and Royce the 5'9".